Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's your host, Arlette, and we are joined here today by Mola and Dani. Welcome, you two. How we feeling?
Good.
I remember him. He was very big on clear communication. He would speak very clearly. The verbiage he would use was very, I can't define it by anything else other than just super clear the way he spoke. I also remember he said something weird about being tolerant. I'm going to find it for you guys.
Mola 31. My last relationship was 2022.
That's already a little bit strange. You're 31, your last relationship was when you were 22. You might be wondering why I'm in such a dapper outfit. That's because I just came back from a night with the guys. I figured, let me do some editing before I go to sleep. And I realized that Mola said his last relationship was in the year 2022, not that he was 22 during his last relationship. So that pretty much makes my whole video redundant, so I have to redo the whole thing. So you'll be seeing me in this outfit for the remainder of the video. Or at least the parts of the video I couldn't salvage. That's about 10 years. 10 years, no relationship, it's a little strange. Well, actually, it's closer to 3, maybe 4 years single, which is not nearly as strange as 10 years. It's a little strange, but I feel like if he's working on himself during that time, 3 to 4 years single could be a good thing. I gotta give him his credit for that. That's a little weird, but let's go on.
think it didn't last too long. And what I learned is actually, I learned how self-aware that I actually am. I think a problem that I've noticed with society is people always try to push you into one direction or another.
I know he's talking, so it's like they're not gonna clock it in the moment, but he's saying how self-aware he was at 22 years old. I know what I was like at 22 years old. I can't speak for his experience, but I would not call myself extremely self-aware at 22 years old. Actually, he was talking about how self-aware he was at 27, possibly 28. At 27, 28, I think that statement's a lot more reasonable. I might even say I myself at 27, 28 was fairly self-aware. I'm 30 now. I remember what I was like at those ages. I knew who I was at that point. I haven't changed too much since then. Sure, some of my opinions have changed somewhat. There's some things I see slightly differently, but for the most part, I was who I am at 27 and 28.
Especially with this idea of being tolerant.
You what?
But for some of us who've kind of always known what we like and what we don't like, that's actually led to more chaos than anything. So I gave someone a chance.
The idea of being tolerant at 22 years old led to more chaos than anything else. That's a crazy take. Now knowing that Mona was 27, possibly 28, that take is still just as crazy. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. The idea of being tolerant is chaotic. I just cannot understand it. I can maybe resonate with no matter how I try to reconcile it, I quite literally cannot. Maybe it's I want to say it's possible that when he says that being tolerant, he means that accepting just anyone just because they are a woman or someone he gets attracted to, no matter what they believe or who they are, causes problems. But that sounds more like he himself just was not doing his due diligence when it comes to dating.
And it was a first situation. I've never had a gorgeous woman beg me before.
You what?
Now that I'm watching this again, why is that even relevant? Are you just flexing just to flex? Why are you telling us that she begged you? How does that change how we view you? What is the significance of that except to tell us that you are in some way desirable?
So I figured if I try, maybe this might be the diamond in the rough, but that was such a foolish situation, and I made a fool of myself. So now I don't play games. I know what it takes to satisfy me, and I only go for that.
He speaks so well and eloquently about the situation. It could not have been that serious. I'll be that guy. It could not have been that serious. Like, he's acting like it completely changed his worldview.
I used to be I was so tolerant before. I used to accept everybody. Now, I can't accept anything. If you do one thing wrong, we're not seeing each other anymore.
Which actually, I think is what he did with this person. Hold up, let me fast forward for you guys.
So I'll let you decide. If you and I got to know each other better and decided to proceed, if I asked you to tone it down just a little bit, would that be a deal breaker for you or no?
It's a good question. A deal breaker? Probably. Yeah, I want to wear what I want when I want.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And there's levels to that. I can understand like wanting to be able to voice your concerns about your partner wearing a particular outfit, but ultimately, you should trust your partner to make their own decisions. He also, I don't want to call him controlling based on what I'm seeing, but I do know he's not the most tolerant person. I know he said he has a level of tolerance, but as he said before, when he was 22, he realized he was too tolerant and became essentially a menace from what I'm hearing. Let's go back to the original video.
Matching. Is it a yes for you for her?
Yes.
Okay. And is it a yes for you for him? Yeah. We got a match.
How did it go for me? It was interesting because it was everything I expected. Because I followed a few people who've been on the show, like Rhino and others, but it was the little things that kind of got to me. So yeah, I was caught off guard a little bit, but it was overall it was a fun experience.
What kind of little things? I'm curious.
You're curious? Oh, there were just 2 or 3. I always envisioned walking out and being the one asking questions. So being on this end, I couldn't control the depth of the conversation.
And that's interesting too. I guess when you go on the show, you don't know whether or not you're going to be on the lineup or if you're going to be the person going in asking questions. So that's a valid point.
That was one. And the other thing was I couldn't actually hear the women when they were speaking. So I didn't want to look like I was distracted or joking. So I didn't ask the guys what they heard. And I was hoping when they came down, I could pick up on some conversation.
Okay.
Just those 2 things, really.
Got it. Okay.
I'm curious why he couldn't hear them. I assume they're in some kind of warehouse setting, so maybe the sound just doesn't travel that well while you're in there. So, I guess we have the benefit of hearing them with a microphone, so we can always hear what they're saying. But I assume if you're like in a space, a very large space, and someone's speaking, it can be a little difficult to hear them.
And Dani, what about for yourself? How was the experience for you, and what made you even want to come on Pop the Balloon?
Honestly, the experience was good. It was so fun. I really can't complain. What really made me go on the show is because I'm an avid watcher. I was watching it every week. Wednesday, I'll be the first one in the comment. But I also found frustration in watching the show because I always felt like people would pop for dumb reasons. Like they're popping because shoes, they're popping because like hair, like so I always again I'm the person that's screaming at the TV. So I'm like, okay, let me show you how it's done. Like, let me do it. But being on the
I feel like it's natural watching the show to think I could do this better. Well, I'm in a committed relationship, so I don't need to worry about this. Slight flex. But I do think it's natural to think, to watch people on the shows and think I could do it better. But there's a lot more variables that go into it. Some people are nervous. There's alcohol there, so some people are a little turnt. I mean, like being on camera and speaking on camera, it does not come naturally to everyone.
show is completely different than watching it, so I have a whole different mentality about it now. We really have to give people who are up on their grace, y'all. It's not at all.
That was the key takeaway for me too. A lot more grace. I heard my old corporate voice come out. I said, "Oh my God."
That is hilarious. That's what everyone says. Like, it's different from watching it than being on it. So you guys got to experience that firsthand. So now let's go ahead and get right into the part that everyone is tuned in for. Since you guys ended up matching, have you gone on a date?
Ish.
Okay.
Not really.
What's it?
Bro, I don't understand why people do this. It's a yes or no question. Did you go out and spend some time together after the show? Yes or no? If you did, then yes, you went on a date. If you did not, then no, you did not go on a date.
Let's just get into it. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Dani, you could start this time.
Okay, go ahead, Dani.
Okay. I thought that he was going to get into it.
I know, I thought so too.
Right. I'll take the lead. I guess we can say ish because we really didn't go on a formal date. Again, filming was very long, and towards the end of it, most of everything was closed. So I think everyone was just tired and hungry. So step to the side, we heard people talking about, where they want to eat, and we were also hungry. So we heard plans of going somewhere to eat. We went there and nobody else was there but us. So I guess that's a date. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, it was just you two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing though. It means you want to go to a group setting or like a group-ish date, but it ended up just being the two of you, which it probably should have been anyway. That probably maximized the chances of you guys like vibing and getting to know each other. This sounds like a W so far.
So then why is that not a date? I'm so confused.
Okay, fine, it's not a date, but everything was closing too. I'm gonna say it's not a date.
Yeah, that's not really.
Okay.
How was it? You guys just described a date. You said you both went somewhere. You spent some time together. Why is that not a date? I don't understand. Like were you only there for 10 minutes? If you're only there for 10 minutes, okay. That's valid. But it seems to me like you guys spent some time together and had a date.
So it's not a date because you guys had planned to meet other people there and then it ended up being just you
We
two,
didn't
or
we didn't have enough time to really bond, and then we were tired. My flight was at 11 o'clock, and it's already like 1:20, 1:30 by the time we got there. So
oh, okay, so you guys didn't spend enough time together basically.
yeah.
Oh,
It was two people meeting up at the same location.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's a good way to put it. There was two people meeting up at the same location. They didn't spend much time there because he had to hop on a plane soon. I would still call that a date. I would just call it a very, very, very bad one. Extremely bad date.
y'all just ate, no conversation, and that was it.
We spoke some.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it wasn't that it was a blur. I think, as she said, the realizations of how the show really works, all that dawned on. We're tired, so we made the most of our time. And
Okay.
I think I had my ride had come before hers. I'm like, yeah, I'll hit you up later. And then I got into Uber, and I'm like, wait, I didn't even get her number, so I had to run back and get it. I was tired. So
You what?
And that's a skill-based issue if I ever heard one. You left the premises without securing the digits. Skill-based issue.
You guys went back to your
Hasn't been in a relationship since 22. He might not remember how to do this stuff anymore. Maybe there's some situationships or something in between that he's not talking about.
okay, so you guys spoke on the phone. Like, tell me more. I'm like, you rushing through it, but I'm not getting no details.
yeah, we spoke on the phone. We spoke on the phone about twice.
Okay.
More of the time it was a little bit about the show and the reception. I think another surprise was we expected our show would air later, but we were the next thing. So that kind of caught.
That's interesting. I think multiple people at this point have said they didn't know when their show was going to air. So that's a little insight into how Pop the Balloon works. Maybe sometimes they film a show and air it the next week. Maybe sometimes they put it on the back burner. Maybe air it from when they're taking a break. Maybe take a little vacation. Very interesting to think about from a content perspective. But we need more information about these conversations. You guys, he's saying they spoke twice. Cool. How long were these conversations? Were they 5-10 minute conversations? Were they hour-long conversations? Did you guys get into the nitty-gritty of like how your relationship might work, what long distance might look like? Or was it, hey, you see the recent Wizards game? Like, we kind of need more details, brother.
Everyone off guard.
Okay.
So we got to know each other a little bit. She told me about her experiences, Haitian American experiences growing up in Florida, and things of that nature, which was cool. Things I'd seen on TV were her real life experience, so that was cool to learn. But we didn't really get too much into one another in terms of like our core beliefs and things of that nature. We didn't get too deep.
Okay. Danny, I see you making faces. Let's hear from you. Tell me about it.
I wear my feelings on my sleeve. I'll start where I agree is that yes, after the show, we decided to keep the communication going. He said that he's not a texter, and I'm good in like any form, texting, calling, I can do whatever. So I
kind of get that. I'm not really a texter either. But early on, if I'm like dating someone, I'm more open to texting. Like I'll try harder I'll try harder with the texting aspect because I know like it's early. We're still getting to know each other. We're trying to keep that communication going. Even though I'm not the best texter, I need to put it upon myself to text as much as I can.
kind of lean on that person's preference. But the thing is that I'm just used to FaceTime, but he is a Android user, so I didn't know I had to schedule a call with him on Teams.
You what?
Whoa. He has an Android? Now I get it though. So what Dani is saying is an experience I have also had. I now have an iPhone. I've made it to the promised land. However, I used to be like Mola. I had Android, but the women I would date had iPhones. One woman in particular, I remember this verbatim. She told me I was immature for having an Android phone, that I did not care to communicate like an adult because I had an Android phone. So, take that as you will. For some people, it's a pretty big issue. Me personally, I mean, now that I have an iPhone, would I date someone with an Android? And my girlfriend decided to get an Android, we can make it work, but it'd be a little tougher. It would be a little tougher.
So I did love the fact that I was the last person to go out because I have no perception of what happened. So I'm giving him a clean slate. I don't know what transpired before me. I don't know what, right? So we planned. He asked if I want to watch the show with him, and I said I had already planned to watch it with some family.
Actually, I remember in my youth, I might even have been 22 myself at the time. I asked a woman for her phone number after we were having a amazing, exuberant, uplifting conversation, if you will. It's going quite well, in my personal opinion. Talking for a good 15, maybe even 20 minutes. Hit her with some jokes, told her some stories. I could tell by her body language that she was enjoying herself. I said, "Oh, great. Oh, can I have your number?" As you know, as the customary, as most men do, you know, when they're having a good conversation with a woman. She says yes, therefore verifying that our conversation was a good one. I take my cell phone out. She looks at it. She looks back up at me, and she says, "What is that?" And then reply and say, "Oh, I think I had a Droid Incredible at the time." She said, "Oh." Her demeanor shifted, and she replied that she only gives her number to people with iPhones. This is a real thing. If you don't have an iPhone, you're trying to talk to women that have an iPhone, it can cause some problems.
Friends, because they are just now finding out that I even did this. Like I kind of snuck it. So I basically told them like I'm gonna watch it with them, and this is the first time I've ever seen the show. I didn't see anybody else go up, so just watching him interact with some of the other people on the show, and you know my family and friends saying, "Oh my gosh, what's up with this guy? He's getting on this girl. He's getting on this girl."
Can you imagine? You're watching the show with your friends. Mola, like I showed you guys prior, Mola made some interesting comments. He said that he was too tolerant. A crazy thing to say. Her friends are seeing this happen real time, and they don't know that Dani matched with this man. Sheesh, if I was her, I would feel the heat on my face as I'm watching it with my friends, knowing full well that I matched with this guy. I would have canceled the party. I would have said my internet went out. Cancel the whole thing. Sorry, guys. Grandma's sick. I don't know. I would have got out of there.
Hopefully you didn't match with him. And in my head, I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Because again, I don't know. Like I'm watching it with them, and
I'd be blushing. I know I'm pretty dark skinned, but I would be blushing if I were her. In that moment, I would be turning tomato red.
And when we get to me, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense why when I went up there, he was drilling me and asking me so much questions, because he was doing that with everyone else. I just thought that he was a man who was just doing his due diligence and, you know, making sure that he matches with somebody and it makes sense. So I didn't feel any way, like I felt very confident about the match, but going off camera and communicating outside of that, I was like, oh, okay, like this is a little bit concerning about some of the things that he was saying.
Concerning. Okay. What was concerning that you would say is something that he had said?
This is in reference to us watching the show back. So at this point, I've already watched.
Mola runs a very strict program. Based on what we've seen thus far, the way he asks questions to the women on the actual show, how he's talking about his experience with Dani, I can tell that he runs a very tight ship when it comes to relationships. I'm not sure many people could survive in a relationship with someone like him. I'm sure some people could, but I don't think the vast majority of people could. I think it'd be very difficult. I think it would be one of those situations where he would get his way 90 to 95% of the time. He would need to control many aspects of his partner's life. Not to say he's controlling, but he seems to be someone that his input needs to be put above his partner's. And That kind of says what it is. Some people are just like that.
The show back with my peoples. I already have an opinion, whatever. So I basically asked him, how did he view himself on the show, or how did he think that he did? Because again, we know that this is being viewed by so many people. Of course, like you want to be authentic, but also you want to make a good impression too, because you don't know who's going to do this. You don't know if you're going to match on here. And he made a comment and basically said that, oh, he thinks he did well, which is great. He has a high esteem. But he basically said something about, I was like, have you seen the comments?
Bruh, like, because Mola isn't someone, he's not flexible, he's not malleable, he's not like dynamic, he's very static in how he views things. And when it comes to like relationships, at least in my personal experience, if you want it to work, you gotta be pretty flexible. Like, your partner is your equal. You guys you gotta compromise, you gotta make things work. It's not always gonna go your way. Mola is not that type. From what I'm seeing, he's not that type.
And he said, oh, the people in the comments, if they don't agree with me, it's probably people who are fatherless or baby mamas or something.
What?
He's spoken to Dani for approximately 35 minutes at this point, and he's saying that the people in the comments are fatherless and don't have baby mamas. Or, sheesh. He might be a red pillar, low key. That sounds like something Andrew Tate might say.
Yeah. So, I'm digging deeper and I'm trying to figure out, why does he have this mindset? Because me going on the show, I wanted to represent and not perpetuate any stereotypes that are associated with the Black culture. So it just felt bad to hear it coming from a Black man, because these are some of the comments or rhetoric that we hear pushed from people outside.
And why is he smiling? Like, he's like, oh yeah, I said that. It looks like he stands by it. That's a crazy thing to say. Fatherless and baby mamas. I'm curious how he's going to reply to this.
The culture. So I had to dig deeper and figure out, why do you think this way? What's going on? So just in our conversation, we discovered that, okay, like, we have two different beliefs, and that's just what that was. I don't know if he can dive deeper into why he feels that way with you, but.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not too much deeper to dive if you want me to. Yeah. So. Yeah.
There's not much more. There's a lot to say about that. You should have a lot to say about that. Those are crazy statements.
Yeah, I don't remember the specific comment, but that sounds like something I would say.
You what?
He had a chance to walk it back. He decided not to. He's doubling down. Never in my life.
I still haven't watched the episode fully.
Okay.
I think that's one of your longest episodes. So, yeah. But no, I didn't watch the episode. I just used the AI tool. I downloaded all the comments, and then I just kind of had to analyze and like, hey, what was any reference regards to
You're telling me you didn't have 2 hours to watch a video of yourself? You can speed up videos. I sped up this one.
me? So yeah, I just had the raw comments, and I saw the things that were being said, and it's like, oh, this person is controlling. He wants to take over so and so, and I know I didn't say anything like that, and we know.
He might not have said anything like, I want you to go make a sandwich for me every night before I go to sleep. Mola didn't say anything like that. However, the comment about being too tolerant at some point, as well as the even asking the woman about, oh, would you be open to me having an influence on what you wear on your social media, that comes off as controlling. So I don't know how that's not clicking. But to be fair, and honestly, not even to be fair, people like this that are living this framework that everyone needs to adjust to them, or like their woman or / partner needs to acclimate to their style of doing things, they tend to not see that they're being controlling. It just is what it is.
Know how things actually transpired on set. So it was interesting to see perception versus reality. Like there were no issues with anyone on set, but how people perceive it and the comments that were made. I'm like, okay, if that's how you took this, you're probably coming from a very kind of different lifestyle.
And it's interesting that he's coming to this conclusion that like all the comments are wrong, when he seems to be someone that's reasonable enough that in any other context, if the majority of people were saying something, he would at least give that some consideration. Like we have the saying, where there's smoke, there's fire for a reason.
Okay, I see. So this all was discussed in the conversation you guys had. Like you told him that this is what you saw, your viewpoint, all of that.
No.
Oh, this is your first time hearing this, Mola?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, no, it's not. It's not his first time hearing this because one, yes, this was our very last conversation. And after that is when I reached out to him and I said, I don't want to continue talking for reasons why I just don't feel like we align morally. That was one of the things. The other thing is I said he cussed like a sailor. And I feel like that conversation should be reserved for men in a barbershop somewhere. But it makes me feel uncomfortable. That's another thing. I just think that, there's some humility that is lacking, or you even being like self-actualized, because even in the comment that you made, you said, their perception versus reality. Honestly, the show is subjective. So, because there are people who agree with you, there are people who've seen you and it was like, this is just a man who knows what he wants, and there's some people who somebody said,
I don't know. Right now, he's coming off like a alpha man. Woo, alpha.
he's probably a serial killer, but they can't prove it yet. So I don't think that it's split though. I think that there was an overwhelming amount of people who view you in a way they don't know you. So, their opinion is nothing. But also I know that specifically for the person who I want to be with or the man who I want to lead me, I want him to have a high esteem for our culture, regardless of what other people are doing. So when I heard that was a red flag because again, I'm not only Haitian. That was another thing. People were trying to argue about my ethnic background, my nationality. I'm Black. That is my race. My nationality, I was born and raised in the United States, and my parents are Haitian, both of them. So that's my ethnicity. So that's another thing I wanted to clear. But those are just things that just was a red flag for me. So I had to exit stage left.
Okay.
Yeah, but to clarify something in regards to the last conversation. So, I mean, on Sunday, we hadn't really spoken much, and at this point, because she did mention that she's a texter. I'm not a texter. I'll do video calls or voice calls. Maximum. Maybe you call me old school, but the fact that we're already across the country, this is
Where are you located again?
I'm in Chicagoland area.
Chicago, and you're in Florida.
No,
Y'all
I'm
really
in
that far?
I'm
Oh,
in
you're in Dallas, but you're from Florida.
Yes.
Okay,
We're
okay.
Chicago time.
You guys are in the same time zone.
Yes.
Yeah, we're in the same time zone, but I mean the distance. It's not like I could say, hey, we didn't have enough time last time. Let's go out and actually feel you in person. That's my point.
Okay.
So yeah, with that, her traveling and then her getting sick and us not interacting much, I was already kind of the minimum amount of communication, and like we said, we didn't get too deep into one another, or at least she was observing things and having her own conclusion, but we didn't really have much of conversation where I could feel her out. So I messaged her really quickly and asked her what she thought about one of us traveling. Really, I meant me coming to Dallas because I have friends all over Texas, so I wanted to go check them out, and I saw that as an opportunity for us to hang out and actually feel each other out in person. And she had responded with like a 7-minute voice message. So that's where some of the comments that she's talking about, they were sent. I didn't listen to the whole thing because there's no song in my playlist that's 7 minutes. So I skimmed through it, but that's where I heard everything at the end. So at that point,
And that
I said,
was
"All
the
right."
last point of communication, was you sending that voice note to him?
Yeah. So it was communicated. He just didn't care to actually receive it. And that's not my fault. I did my due diligence. I gave you that closure and said what it was. So we can't sit on this call and act like I never heard that. Because
If she actually sent him a 7-minute voice note explaining why she didn't want to be with him, that's a lot more than a lot of people would do. Some people would just ghost, banish on you, pull a Danny Phantom, if you will, never hear from them again. She said 7 minutes. Let me explain word for word, bar for bar, why you're not someone I should be with. That's a pretty nice thing to do. W's in the chat for Danny.
that's your own choice.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're adults. We could speak. I don't.
Yeah.
If you can respond in 5 minutes, you could give a call.
That's true. That's true. So to his
What do you need a call for? She gave you all. I don't know what more questions you would have to ask her that weren't already answered in the 7-minute voice note.